Good afternoon. Here is the midday news. The Meetopwe Habakarim is my name. Sorting of votes by national delegates has commenced at the presidential primary election of the All Progressives Congress. The ballot casting exercise to determine the fate of aspirants, which was carried out by 2,340 delegates, started in the early hours of today. The 6-hour voting process ended with a few delegates still hanging around in a near-empty field of Eagle Square. However, feelers from the convention ground in Abuja indicated that the battle for the sole presidential ticket is still down to former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Senate President Ahmed Lawan, and the national leader of the party, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. The winner is expected to be declared in a few hours, as 14 aspirants are still in the race. Reports have it that 9 aspirants had earlier withdrawn from the race. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari had earlier charged delegates at the All Progressives Congress presidential primary to give their votes the presidential candidates with the best chances of securing victory for the party at next year's elections. President Buhari gave the charge at the Eagle Square venue of the presidential convention of the ruling party. He also urged members of the party to remain united and avoid acrimony, charging winners to be magnanimous of victory and those who lose to exhibit a spirit of sportsmanship. According to him, the critical task ahead of the Adamu Abdullahi-led National Working Committee remains to forge the unity of purpose among party members and to keep securing needed compromises in the interest of the party.
The box is open.
I congratulate all the winners and our newly emerged party flag bearers. So far, for the 2023 general elections, and urge you to be magnanimous in victory, particularly towards your fellow aspirants who conceded to you. I urge you at all times to abide by the party rules and fellow party reconciliation processes. In every competitive event, there are bound to be winners and runners-up. And as such, all the aspirants who lost or conceded at the primaries, I equally urge you to maintain the spirit of sportsmanship and to stand by our great party for the next challenges ahead.
As the sorting and counting of votes is underway as the venue of the presidential primary election of the ruling All Progressives Congress, OSBC reporter Oluchi MIDDAY examines the intrigues that preceded the convention, which many believed will make the party stronger and more unified after the exercise. Her reports.
The presidential primaries of the All Progressives Congress APC is probably the most talked about political issue in Nigeria at the moment. Many Nigerians are waiting with bated breath to know who will finally emerge as the presidential candidate of the party and fly the flag of APC come 2023. The special presidential primary of the ruling All Progressive Congress has been marred with intrigues as issues of consensus candidacy and zoning arrangements continue to dominate the discourse. Within a space of hours and days, President Muhammadu Buhari has held a series of meetings with the aspirants, all to ensure that the unity of the party is not compromised by the outcome of the primary election.
These steps are being taken to ensure that the unity and cohesion of the party are sustained and to provide direction. Among other things, I reminded the APC governors of the need for the party to proceed to the 2023 presidential election with strength, unity of purpose, and to present a flag bearer who will give Nigerians a sense of hope and confidence while ensuring victory for our party.
The intrigues became more twisted when the national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Adamu, announced that the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, has emerged the consensus candidate of the party. Senator Lawan confirmed this position when he spoke with newsmen.
The successful candidate, and of course, when I will speak to you like this, I will be speaking to you next time as the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, the APC, by the grace of God.
However, the APC National Working Committee kicked against it, just as the APC Northern Governors Forum threw their weight behind the Southern presidency.
And equally, the Southern governors also affirmed that. So we, as members of the NWC, we are also with the governors on what they have said. And that's some minutes ago, the governors in the North have gone to the presidency and have just briefed the press that they are still on what they said with regard to the power shift to the South.
One of the stalwarts of the party in Osun State, Honorable Akintola Omolaoye, believed that in all, the APC will eventually emerge victorious and more unified after the convention.
The steps so far taken by the leadership are so wonderful in the sense that, any house that defies against itself shall surely fall. But to ensure that APC stands and it continues in ruling the nation, they are trying to put their house in order.
By and large, the permutations have continued and the list of aspirants have been whittled down, and more surprises still await Nigerians as events unfold. Oluchi Amuda, OSBC News.
Authorities of the Diocese of Ondo has said 38 persons have so far been confirmed dead in the terrorist attack on St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State. The diocesan bishop, Jude Arugundade, disclosed this in an interview with newsmen. It would be recalled that gunmen attacked the church located on Owaloa Street in Owo, the hometown of the state governor, Arakun Rotimi Akeredolu, leaving many parishioners dead and several others injured. But Arugundade said the diocese had been able to account for 38 victims. He, however, said some families picked up corpses of their loved ones, and those could not be accounted for by the diocese. Meanwhile, a source here in the church told newsmen that the diocese may consider mass burial for the victims of the massacre, as some bodies had not been identified and claimed by their relatives since the incident happened. The source, however, said a final decision has not been reached on the date and other burial arrangements. In the meantime, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned the attack as he called on the authorities to spare no effort in bringing the perpetrators to justice. According to a statement by the spokesperson for the Secretary General, Stephanie Dujarric, Guterres emphasized that attacks on places of worship are abhorrent. And on sports, 5-time world champions Nigeria will begin its journey for another title as they depart the country for the Ghanaian city of Cape Coast, where they will participate in the 7-nation WAFU B under 17 championship that begins on Saturday. The two finalists from the tournament in Cape Coast will represent the WAFU B zone as the Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations built for Algeria early next year. All 4 semi-finalists in Algeria will qualify for the FIFA Under-17 World Cup Finals in Peru. Reports say Nigeria was 5 world titles in the kitty and 3-time world champions, and hosts Ghana will set the tournament rolling on Saturday with a potentially explosive encounter as they start Cape Coast. Coach Nduka Ubadi, who has kept his eyes on the ball and his hands on the plow for several weeks, screening and training the lads at the FIFA Goal Project, Abuja, says his objective is to earn a ticket to the AFCON finals in Algeria. The Golden Eaglets are in Group A of the competition, with a second match against Togo's Under-17 boys next week, Tuesday, also as they start Cape Coast. on the foreign scene. An agreement for the EU member states to ensure that minimum wages provide a decent standard of living has been struck by negotiators from the member states and parliament. It was gathered that 6 of the EU's 27 member states do not have a minimum wage and will not be required to introduce one. But under the deal, the 21 that do would be required to follow common rules but not the same rates. The deal first needs to be voted on before it becomes law. An estimated 1 in 10 workers across the EU earns the minimum wage, but the levels vary dramatically from country to country. In Germany, the parliament has just backed a rise from the current rate of €9.82 an hour to €12 in October. Still on the foreign scene, 17 people have died after a passenger train derailed in eastern Iran, while over 50 passengers were seriously injured. Reports surveyed that the number of casualties could rise, though initial details about the disaster involving a train reportedly carrying some 350 passengers remained unclear. 4 of the 7 carriages in the train derailed in the early morning darkness near the desert city of Tabaz, some 550 kilometers southeast of the capital, Tehran. Rescue teams with ambulances and helicopters have arrived in the remote area where communication is poor. At least 16 people suffered critical injuries, with some transferred to local hospitals. Initial reports suggested the train collided with an excavator near the track, though it was not immediately clear why an excavator would have been close to the train track at night, but one official suggested it could have been part of a repair project. That ends the media news on OSBC Television. We thank you for watching. It was edited by Kayode Adebayo. Join us at 3 for the States News. Good afternoon.